Afternoon, chaps. How's it going? Hope all is well across the globe, wherever you may be. It's time to address the fucking massive stone phallus in the room. And that is the fucking ridiculous furore that's gone on in the last week regarding statues. Like, the reason I use the word phallus is because if the people of Middlesbrough, my shite hometown, voted unanimously to erect a 50-foot cock in the middle of the town centre, I would support it getting put up. Is democracy not the pinnacle of liberalism? Is that not what we should all aspire to? Is that not the whole reason we've been bombing the fucking shit out of everywhere for the last 30 years to try and spread democracy everywhere? If the people of Borough decided to knock the fucking transporter bridge down, reduce it to slag, and instead erect a giant blue phallus in its place, I would support it, because it's what the people demanded. But they wouldn't do that. They would say, fuck off, you maniac, we're keeping the bridge, thanks very much. Which is why, and I have to say about it, I have no idea why the Mayor of Middlesbrough follows me. All I've done is go on his timeline and basically abuse the communist rabble that is constantly telling him to do retarded shit that nobody agrees with. And he started following me, so he's obviously a man of taste and vision, Mayor Andy Preston. But he asked a question the other day in response to my nemesis, Owen fucking Jones. I've been trying to popularise that name for the last year. It still hasn't took, but that's his name, Owen fucking Jones. He always has his middle name. And Owen Jones and his mates have set up this ridiculous fucking website. Topple the racists, right? The funniest thing about this is, as always, the language they use. You know, they've changed the goalposts, so they say everything is violence nowadays, right? Because it sounds better. So words are violence. Violence isn't violence, because if you smash the shit out of someone or set something on fire or blow something up or pull a statue down and breakdance on it like fucking ISIS, that's not violence. But if you say something someone doesn't like, that's definitely violence. And it's even got to the point now where you see them holding up signs like that. Silence is violence. Now, at least it rhymes. There's worse signage I've seen. But this is where we are now. Everything is violence, except violence. That's sound. Launching a fucking bottle or a brick at a policeman, that's not violence. Simply sitting there with your mouth shut, fucking violence. You horrible, silent, violent cunt. You sat there with your mouth shut the entire time. Kick his fucking teeth in. That's the world we're living in. Anyway, the language on some of these is brilliant. I clicked on one of them and it said, I had to endure walking past this statue every day. Endure. Like being a spotty middle-class student and having to walk past a statue you don't like is endurance. To get your Green Beret, you have to do the endurance course. It doesn't involve walking past the statue with a fucking latte. That's not what it involves. It involves getting fucking beasted for 10 mile. So this is just absolute madness, this. Look, Robert Peel, they even want to take down the Robert Peel statue. The bloke who invented policing, created the modern concept of policing, which has disproportionately targeted the poor and ethnic minorities worldwide for centuries. Well, yeah, because middle class and rich people don't have to mug anyone to feed the fucking kids. Typically, scruffy bastards do all the crime. I'm man enough to admit it. I'm from Middlesbrough, a town so full of chavs and human scum, you can't walk down a street without seeing a 6-year-old smoking a cigarette or a spliff that's bigger than his fucking head. That's Middlesbrough. I'm comfortable making peace with the fact that my people cause most of the crime in England. Because poor people cause crime, but the idea that because of that fact, Robert Peel needs to be eradicated from history, when he's probably done more to safeguard the safety and prosperity of the general public than almost anyone, right? Because if you're a rich twat, you just hire a bunch of mercenaries to guard your fucking house. But if you're a scumbag like me and you live in a fucking scruffy street in Middlesbrough and all of your neighbours are chavs who insist on eating tea and toast in the middle of the street for no logical reason, mugging, raping and running amok, you have to phone the police. That's what you have to do. And granted, Middlesbrough police are fucking useless. My mate used to work on the golf course in the borough, and he told me once that a load of skinheads turned up on motorcycles and fucking started doing donuts in the middle of the putting green. And when he phoned the police, the coppers said, we haven't got anyone, mate. And he was like, what? And they said, no, sorry, it's a match day. You'll have to phone back. It was like, they're currently doing donuts on the fucking golfing greens. Don't you think we need to stop them? And they're like, give it 4 or 5 hours, mate. Phone us then. It was like, there won't be a fucking golf course in 4 or 5 hours. There'll just be a big circular hole in the fucking world. Ridiculous on the face of it. Topple the fucking racist. Unbelievable. And this is the point I was going to make. So I had a chat with him briefly on Twitter. I said to the bloke, take down Captain Cook, the only famous son of Middlesbrough. Well, other than Chubby Brown, it was quite a good one. One of my idols. I think that's why I swear a lot, and I'm pretty funny. In my house, I was free to listen to Chubby Brown tapes when I was 10 years old. So I got through them all at a young age, and I used to occasionally see him when I walked to school. He'd always stop and sign autographs and tell you to fuck off. He's a good bloke. But anyway, Captain Cook is the only really famous son of Middlesbrough. There he is. There is his glorious visage. Marvellous fellow he is. Gets me there. He was born about a fucking mile away from where I lived. And for the time, he was an extremely civilised chap. Like, he was renowned because he wasn't a proper bastard. Like, the Spaniards used to tip up in fucking somewhere in South America, and it was literally jump off the boat, start fucking shooting. Captain Cook was famously a more learned, civilised fella, which is why in 1779 he got his fucking head caved in by some of the locals in Hawaii, and they ate the fucker. But apparently, he's the evil one. And again, the general public doesn't support this, do they? We know they don't, because it was a different era, and the world was savage hundreds of years ago. For the time, the British were very civilised. In the late 18th century, the British were quite civilised compared to other places. You've got like the Ottoman Empire taking slaves and raping and pillaging and running amok. The Japanese were doing that shit in the fucking 40s. Nobody ever heard about the rape in Nanking. Oh, it was the 30s. 1937 to 1938. Unbelievable. Like proper bayoneting babies and shit. Like the full on. And that wasn't even that long ago. And we're picking on some poor cunt who got eaten because he was an explorer. It doesn't make any sense. And no one agrees with them. Needless to say, the debate was just like, he was saying, take down Captain Cook. This guy wants to see the statue of Captain Cook taken down. What do you think? Well, what do you think people said? Mine's one of the most popular ones on there. I said, no. And if the general public voted, 75% of them, at least, I'm being conservative there, would say no. If they polled the people in Middlesbrough and said, should we pull all the fucking statues down of James Cook? I think it'd be higher. 85% of them would say, fuck no. And they know it. Which is why the fascist lefties never want to do it democratically. They don't. They know they would lose, so they make a fucking mob and they do it anyway. Iconoclasm. Full-blown iconoclasm like ISIS. I said they should be treated with utter contempt and fucking prosecuted. There's Peter Hitchens refusing to take a knee. Have a like, Peter. Have a like. At the decolonised demo in London. They want to pull down the Cecil Rhodes statues as well. Fucking... It's absolute madness. Watching them pull that statue down in Bristol was fucking shocking. Like, have you seen that? Like, just check this out. They're like fucking ISIS. Like, I was there when they were pulling down statues in Iraq, and they make us look fucking uncivilized. Just look at this. Look at the clip of that scruffy, long-haired cunt dancing on it. That is unbelievable. Like, fucking savages. The third world is better than Bristol at this point. They're more dignified. What we should do is we should take all them fucking statues down and we should fucking put them all up in Pakistan or Nigeria or Somalia, somewhere where the people are a little bit more fucking dignified. So that's where we are today. A few 100,000 communists want to rip down all of the statues in the UK and replace them with fucking what? I don't know. There's numerous things that make it illogical. I don't need to point them out to you because I'm sure everybody watching this video has got the IQ of a fucking pork pie or above and actually knows that the entire revisionist history that they're trying to embark upon is toxic to common sense and reality itself. Like, it is, on the face of it, fucking ridiculous. It's what they did. It's the famous quote from 1984, isn't it? There it is. Every record's been destroyed or falsified. Every book rewritten. Every picture repainted. Every statue and street building renamed. That's what they want to do now. Every day altered, and the process continuing day by day and minute by minute. History has stopped. Nothing exists except an endless present in which the party is always right. That's what the fucking horrible cunts want to do. Change all the street names, change all the statues. They even want to get rid of the best street name, Grope Cunt Lane. Can you believe they want to get rid of that fine British institution? Oh, look, they've already done it. It's called Magpie Lane now. Fucking Philistines. So yeah, Japanese fucking raping every cunt, bayoneting babies. Now, I don't want to talk about them. They've got a bit of a tan, so they're immune. Captain Cook, civilised chap, in a time of barbarism and death. Oh, no, he's a horrible cunt. Pull his statues down. They didn't eat the cunt fast enough. Dig him up, fucking eat him again. Sorted. Unbelievable. Yeah, fuck you, Owen fucking Jones. We will not topple the statues. If it goes to anything like a vote, they will never ever win. So fucking bring it on. And I would love to see these commie cunts from Islington try and form a mob in a town like Middlesbrough or Stockton to pull a statue down. Because I'll tell you what they'll get. They'll get so many fucking lefts. They'll beg for a right. The angry mob in Borough, what do you think they're going to do to a bunch of burly steel workers and fucking plumbers and bricklayers from fucking building sites around the borough? Think they're going to sit and watch some effete fucking raver from down south come up and fucking pull all the statues down? They'll pull his arms and fucking legs off. That's what they'll pull. So that's all I've got to say on that. You don't pull down fucking statues if you live in a civilised country. You accept the fact that the world was different. Everyone was different. Everyone was taking slaves and committing fucking murder and mayhem. And only one country in the history of the world ever turned around and banned slavery at huge cost to themselves, and it was the British. So instead of feeling guilty about it, they should be fucking proud of where they come from and proud of their history. And nobody in the working classes who's not a fuckwit is cool with these commie bastards pulling down statues. Silence isn't violence. Words aren't violence. Violence is violence. And if you motherfuckers want to show up in the borough and try and pull down the statues of our most hallowed son, I guarantee you will meet some actual violence. And when you're sitting there with your sign going, silence is violence, they will fold that sign up and shove it up your fucking ring piece. And we'll see if you think that's violence. If someone's bouncing on your shit locker with a 9-foot wooden sign, I think you'll quickly learn the difference between pretend violence and real violence. They really are like the Taliban, though. Like, I'm sure I'll educate you now. I'm sure a lot of people haven't heard of this, but when I was in Afghanistan, there was a famed area where these giant statues used to stand called the Buddhas of Bamiyan, and they're these amazing, massive statues that apparently stood like 175 feet tall, and they're an UNESCO World Heritage Site because they were carved directly into the cliff thousands of years ago, like one of the miracles of the ancient world. There's someone stood next to one of them like, look at that. Amazing. And another group of very offended, very woke, silence is violence types. They were so hurt and offended by those two statues, they blew them to fucking smithereens. And do you know who that was? The fucking Taliban. These cunts. Artwork is mine, by the way. That was some positive, borderline racist Christmas cards I sent to the lads when they were in Afghanistan. The Taliban. Owen Jones is the leader of the woke Taliban, so we need to drone strike the motherfucker. Let's give Al-Qaeda a week off and sick the SAS on the Guardian HQ. Owen Jones and Afua Hirsch and Laurie Penny and all them, they're like the top of the leadership pyramid of the current woke Taliban, and I think it would be reasonable to treat them like the Taliban. I'm not merely being facetious. That's what they do. ISIS, Al-Qaeda, like full-on jihadis, fanatics. That's what they do. They go around pulling statues down and blowing shit up. And Owen Jones and his mates are no fucking better. So simply, my argument is, leave them fucking be. The world's changed. We're aware that the world's changed. There is no need to erase history like this is 1984. And if these silly cunts think the general public are going to stand for it, they're going to get a very short, sharp shock. I'm always kidding and joking, but it's not funny. And if this starts going off near you, fucking make your voice heard. Do what I do. Even that lazy slacktivism on Twitter is something. You can fucking send a private message to your local mayor and say, you do realise that if you ask the general public this, 90% of them would say, what are you talking about, you fucking maniac? Don't cave to the fucking left-wing Taliban, because it's disgraceful. The only good thing to come out of it is, I guarantee, as incompetent and weak as the Tories are, they're going to win the next 10 elections at this point, because of fucking mad cunts like Owen Jones and his crazy mates. There is no excuse for iconoclasm. We are not supposed to be savages who tear shit down and break dance on it because we don't like it. We vote and we decide. And if this ever went to a vote, they wouldn't win the fucking thing. So the case is closed. Pretty's the only one who's got any balls. She needs to tell the police to enforce the fucking law and show these silly cunts what it's all about. Because it's high time that they started rounding them up and fucking charging them criminally for vandalism, assault, public order offences, destruction of public property, whatever. Throw the fucking book at them and put them where they'll belong, behind bars with the real fucking Al-Qaeda, fucking ISIS mad cunts. They'll probably get on like a house on fire. Probably not going to be as comfortable with bumming as Owen Jones is, but you know, he can go in a cell with a few ISIS boys. He's more or less practicing the same ideology, right? Put them all in together, see how they get on. And Owen Jones always sticking up for Muslims, so I'm sure they'll treat him wonderfully. Bastions of tolerance, the jihadi community. And that's all I wanted to say. Make your voice heard, because the silent majority isn't going to be silent forever. And it's going to kick off big style if these balmy bastards start trying to pull statues down left, right and centre. I'm saying it for their own good. Like, they will get fucking dismembered by enraged scaffolders if they try and take on Captain Cook. It won't be pretty. So yeah, that's that. Let's all stand against iconoclasm, shall we? It's not the fucking 11th century. As always, if you disagree, unlike the left, I love an argument. Come at me, bro, as the kids say. I'd love to hear it. You make a good argument for why we should start fucking dismantling statues, because I still haven't heard one. Oh yeah, and before I forget, because I never do it, like, subscribe, and most importantly, share the video, because when I get to 1,000 subs, I'm going to have a competition and I will give away a piece of my original art. I've already showed you some earlier. I've got a sizable folder. In fact, fuck it, I'll dig it out. Hang on. Here it is. This is my folder filled with what could possibly be called questionable art. 10 years ago was mildly controversial. Most of it. This was one of the famous "It's Only Pain" sign that hangs outside the base at Lympstone, and I redrew it and we pinned it up 500 metres away from the base in Afghanistan, and it made the newspaper. But tragically, the Prime Minister at the time was Gordon fucking Brown. So there's a picture of me in the paper with the clipping. Of all the PMs we've had, I got the shittest one next to my face in the paper. And I got created for the cunt as well. Taliban Christmas card where they've put Santa in an orange jumpsuit. Yeah, you get the idea. I've got fucking loads, and I've got all the original artwork from the Angry Bootneck channel. So what I'll do is, I'll have a bit of a fucking raffle after I get to 1,000. and you can have an original. So maybe someday I'll be like the Burroughs version of Vincent van Gogh, except much more sane, because I intend to keep my ears attached. And then one of these will actually be worth some money when I kick the bucket due to alcoholism in a few short years. So like it, most importantly, share it, and I'll have a little smally contest when we get there. Alright? Thanks for listening as always. If you disagree, feel free to call me a cunt in the comments, and I'll see you guys soon. Take it easy.